This is a presentation on Perma-Fix of Michigan, Incorporated, brought to you by the staff of the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality Resource Management Division. Perma-Fix of Michigan has proposed to clean up environmental contamination at its property located at 18550 Allen Road in Brownstown Township, Michigan. The property consists of 7 parcels of land on approximately 59 acres. Some of the property has a different address than stated above. Perma-Fix has operated as a hazardous waste processing facility at this location since June 1999. Prior to that time, the facility was operated by Chemat Services Incorporated.
Perma-Fix operations were regulated under Part 111 Hazardous Waste Management of the Michigan Natural Resources and Environmental Protection Act, as amended, Part 111. The state of Michigan is authorized to administer a hazardous waste program in Michigan in lieu of the Federal Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. Perma-Fix was licensed under Part 111 to operate until they underwent final facility closure in January 2006. Under Part 111, the DEQ may require facilities to conduct corrective action if it determines that contamination exists at the facility. Based on previous investigation data, the DEQ made such a determination and entered into a corrective action consent order with Perma-Fix on September 20, 2006 to require further investigation and remediation of the facility. Former operations by Chemat left the facility contaminated with lime-stabilized pickle liquor solids known as Chempac, metals, slag fill, volatile organic compounds, and phenols in the soils, and mainly the same contaminants in groundwater.
This map shows the parcels owned by Perma-Fix and the areas where Chempac contamination remains at the facility. Prior cleanup efforts completed the removal of waste and contaminated solids from the north property in Area 4. Perma-Fix's proposal to address the remaining contamination is documented in the Remedial Action Plan / Corrective Measures Implementation Work Plan. Perma-Fix proposes to place restrictions on the property's deeds for the Quanta areas 1, 2, 3, and 5, and portions of the south property to limit exposures to the remaining soil and groundwater contamination. The Remedial Action Plan / Corrective Measures Implementation Plan, hereafter referred to as the Work Plan, proposes the following corrective measures in addition to deed restrictions to address the remaining residual contamination. Restriction of groundwater usage to limit risks to on-site workers in areas 1 through 5, the Quanta property, and the south property. Placement of the exposed Chempac in Area 4 to the Quanta property. Cover exposed and near-surface Chempac with clean soil or pavement in areas 1 through 3, Area 5, and the Quanta property to limit on-site exposure and to prevent runoff to surface water. Cover any exposed slag fill in areas 1 through 3 and the Quanta property. Cover the limited amount of VOCs and phenol impacted soil in Area 1, Area 3, and Area 5, and continue groundwater monitoring.
The work plan also includes the language for the restrictive covenants to be executed on the property deed. In part, the restrictive covenants will prohibit the use of groundwater, prohibit any removal of asphalt, concrete, or vegetated soils serving as exposure barriers for Chempac and other contaminated soils, prohibit any activities that disturb or damage the function of the groundwater monitoring system, prohibit any excavation, drilling, subsurface utility work, or movement of soil in those areas protected by the exposure barriers unless approval is granted by the DEQ. Any disturbed exposure barriers must be reestablished. Prohibit all uses of the property not compatible with the limited non-residential category established under Part 201 of Act 451. The DEQ has reviewed the work plan but is seeking public input. The work plan and more information about the facility may be reviewed on the DEQ website, shown above. Before issuing a final decision, the DEQ will evaluate all comments received. If you are providing comments on the work plan, please provide your contact information so you can be added to the facility's mailing list. The final decision will be communicated to all persons on the facility mailing list. The comment period ends June 9, 2012.
Written comments, requests to be placed on the facility mailing list, and all other requests for information should be directed to Kimberly Tyson, Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, Resource Management Division, P.O. Box 30241, Lansing, Michigan 48909, or via email at tysonk@michigan.gov. Thank you for visiting the DEQ website and listening to this presentation.